The gun was cold against my temple before I even saw his face. Joyce Adebayo, the voice said in perfect English, smooth as poisoned honey. You've made a very dangerous man fall in love with you, and now his enemies want to know if you're worth dying for. 3 days ago, I was just a broke grad student crying over my ex at a Seoul nightclub. Now I'm staring at a photo of myself leaving a Mafia boss's penthouse. And the man holding it just asked me a question I don't know how to answer. Are you his weakness or his weapon? The bass pounded through my chest like a second heartbeat as I gripped my glass of soju, the clear liquor burning my throat. Seoul's Gangnam district glittered outside the club's floor-to-ceiling windows, but all I could see was him, Charles, my ex-boyfriend, with his arm draped possessively around some Korean woman's waist. The same way he used to hold me before he'd called me too ambitious for his corporate friends. 3 months. 3 months since he'd shattered my heart over dinner at some pretentious restaurant, explaining that his company's culture would never accept a career-focused woman. Never mind that I'd moved to Seoul for him, leaving my family in Lagos. Never mind that I'd adapted to every social expectation, made myself smaller to fit into his world. Now here he was, barely 15 feet away, laughing too loud. And he'd seen me. His eyes had locked onto mine for one cruel second before he'd pulled his new girlfriend closer, whispering something that made her giggle. My vision blurred. I wouldn't cry, not here, not in front of him. I turned blindly and collided with what felt like a wall of expensive fabric and solid muscle. I'm sorry, a deep voice said. The Korean words smooth as silk despite their formality. I looked up. The man towering over me made my breath catch. He was Korean, early 30s maybe, dressed in a black suit so perfectly tailored it probably cost more than my monthly rent. Sharp jawline, intense dark eyes that seemed to calculate everything in an instant, and a presence that made people instinctively move out of his path. Behind him, 3 men in identical black suits shifted position, scanning the crowd with predatory awareness. Could you? I swallowed my pride, desperation overriding every instinct screaming that this man was dangerous. Could you dance with me? My ex is watching from the bar. Those dark eyes flickered past me, found Charles, assessed him with the same interest one might give an insect. Then they returned to my face and something shifted in his expression, not quite a smile, but a softening around the edges. Your ex, he said in perfect English, though a subtle Korean accent remained like dark honey, has made a terrible mistake. He extended his hand. Long fingers, scarred knuckles that told stories his expensive suit tried to hide. One dance. I hesitated for only a heartbeat before placing my hand in his. His grip was firm, commanding, as he led me onto the crowded dance floor. I felt Charles's eyes burning into my back. Good. Let him watch. But then the stranger's hand settled at the small of my back, and suddenly Charles didn't matter anymore. The touch was light but somehow claimed me, guided me with practiced ease through the crowd. People parted for us, actually moved out of the way without being asked. I noticed a woman near the VIP section straighten, her eyes widening in recognition before she quickly looked away. Who was this man? I'm Joyce, I offered as we began to move together, his body leading mine with surprising grace. A pause, so brief I almost missed it. Jinwoo. The name rolled off his tongue like a caress, and I felt a shiver run down my spine. The song shifted to something slower, more intimate. Jinwoo pulled me closer, not inappropriately, but close enough that I could smell his cologne, something expensive and darkly masculine with hints of bergamot and cedar. His hand at my waist tightened fractionally. He's still watching, Jinwoo murmured against my ear, his breath warm on my skin. Do you want him to simply watch, or do you want him to regret? A shiver ran down my spine that had nothing to do with the club's air conditioning. I just want to feel like I matter to someone. Jinwoo's fingers pressed into my waist, almost possessive. You matter. Before I could process the intensity in those 2 words, I saw Charles pushing through the crowd toward us, his face flushed with alcohol and something else. Anger? Jealousy? Joyce, what the hell are you doing? Charles demanded, reaching for my arm. This is embarrassing. Jinwoo didn't raise his voice, didn't even turn to face Charles fully. He simply said, in a tone that could freeze blood, "The lady is occupied." Charles scoffed. puffing up his chest. Who the hell do you think you're? One of Jinwoo's men materialized beside Charles, like a shadow gaining substance. He leaned in, whispered something in Charles's ear, just a few words in rapid Korean that I couldn't catch over the music. Charles's face drained of all color, completely. His hand, still reaching for me, began to tremble. "Mr. Park," he stammered, his earlier bravado evaporating. "I didn't realize. I apologize for, please, I meant no disrespect." "You apologize to her," Jinwoo said quietly, still not fully looking at Charles. "Not to me." Charles turned to me, and I'd never seen fear like that in his eyes. "I'm sorry. Please, enjoy your evening." He practically fled back to his girlfriend, who looked confused and increasingly uncomfortable. I stared up at Jinwoo, my heart hammering. What just happened? Who are you? Jinwoo's expression remained neutral, but something dark flickered in his eyes. Someone who dislikes men who discard precious things. He studied my face, seeming to memorize every detail. "Have dinner with me." "I don't even know you." "Then let me remedy that." His thumb traced a small circle on my waist, the touch sending electricity through me. "1 meal. My driver will take you home whenever you wish to leave. No expectations, no obligations." Every rational cell in my brain screamed danger. The way people moved around him, the fear in Charles's eyes, the bodyguards watching everything. This man was trouble. Serious trouble. "Okay," I whispered instead, drawn to him like a moth to a flame that would definitely burn me. Jinwoo's smile was slow, predatory, satisfied. "Good, let's go now. This place bores me." He was already guiding me toward the exit, his hand never leaving my waist, his men forming a subtle perimeter around us. As we passed Charles, I caught a glimpse of my ex's face, pale, sweating, talking urgently into his phone. The cool Seoul night air hit my face as we emerged from the club. A sleek black Genesis G90 with tinted windows purred to the curb as if summoned by thought alone. The driver, another man in a black suit, opened the rear door with practiced efficiency. "Last chance to change your mind," Jinwoo said softly, but his eyes held a challenge. "Walk away now and you'll be safe. Get in the car and things become complicated." I looked back at the club, at the life I'd been trying to build in Seoul, at the safety of the known world. Then I looked at Jinwoo, at the danger and intensity, and the way he looked at me like I was the only person who existed in the entire city. I got in the car. The interior was luxurious. Butter-soft leather, ambient lighting, the faint scent of expensive cologne. Jinwoo slid in beside me, and the privacy partition rose silently between us and the driver. The car pulled smoothly into Seoul's glittering traffic. "Where are we going?" I asked, suddenly aware of how alone I was with this man. No one knew where I was. I didn't even know his last name. Well, apparently it was Park, based on Charles's terrified reaction. "Somewhere we can talk without interruption." Jinwoo's eyes never left my face. "Tell me, Joyce, what brings a Nigerian woman to Seoul? And don't say it was for the ex-boyfriend. You're too intelligent to have moved across the world for someone that weak." I bristled. "You don't know anything about me. I know you speak with a subtle Nigerian accent. I know you moved here recently. Your body language is still adjusting to Seoul's pace. I know you work in something professional that requires cultural adaptation." He tilted his head. "Am I wrong?" I stared at him. "How?" "Observation. It's how I've survived." Something dark crossed his features. "So, what brought you here?" "Graduate school," I admitted. "International business at Yonsei University. Charles was a distraction that became a mistake. And now? Now I'm trying to figure out how to pay rent and finish my degree without him." The words came out more bitter than I'd intended. Jinwoo's phone vibrated. He glanced at it, his jaw tightening before he silenced it completely. "Money problems?" I laughed without humor. "That's what happens when your ex-boyfriend convinces you to move into his apartment, then kicks you out and keeps the deposit you paid. But that's my problem, not yours. How much?" "Excuse me? How much did he take from you?" I shifted uncomfortably. "Why does it matter?" Jinwoo's eyes hardened. "Because men like him think they can take from people without consequences." "How much?" 5 million won, I admitted quietly. "My savings. It was supposed to be for my last semester's tuition." The car stopped. We'd arrived at a building that screamed wealth, glass and steel rising into the Seoul night, with a doorman who bowed deeply as Jinwoo emerged. I followed, my simple dress suddenly feeling shabby against the marble and gold of the lobby. "Welcome, Chairman Park," the doorman said. Park. Jinwoo's last name was Park, and they'd called him Hojangnim, Chairman. Why did that sound familiar? The elevator was private, requiring a keycard. As we rose in silence, I studied Jinwoo's reflection in the polished doors. His face was expressionless, but tension radiated from him like heat. "Are you going to tell me what you do?" I asked. Why Charles looked like he'd seen a ghost. The elevator doors opened directly into a penthouse apartment. Floor-to-ceiling windows showcased Seoul's skyline, glittering like a carpet of stars. The interior was minimalist, but clearly expensive. Dark woods, leather furniture, art that probably cost more than I would earn in my lifetime. Jinwoo moved to a bar cart, poured 2 glasses of whiskey. "I manage my family's business interests." That's a politician's answer. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Accurate assessment. He handed me a glass. "What do you think I do, Joyce?" I took a sip, buying time. The whiskey was smooth, expensive, burning warmly down my throat. "I think you're someone people are afraid of. I think those men aren't just bodyguards, they're soldiers. I think when Charles heard your name, it was a threat that terrified him." I met Jinwoo's gaze directly. "I think you're in the Korean Mafia." Silence. Heavy, charged. Then Jinwoo laughed. Actually laughed. The sound rich and genuine. Direct. I like that. He set down his glass, moved closer. "You're right. My family controls significant interests in Seoul's nighttime economy, protection services, entertainment districts, import operations. Illegal things. Some, not all. The line blurs in Korea." He stopped directly in front of me, close enough that I had to tilt my head back to maintain eye contact. "Does that frighten you?" "It should. God, it absolutely should." "I don't know yet." Jinwoo's hand rose to my face, his thumb tracing my jawline with surprising gentleness. Honest. How refreshing. His eyes searched mine. "I should take you home. Let you walk away from this before you're in too deep." "What if I don't want to walk away?" His pupils dilated. "Then you need to understand what you're accepting. There will be danger. People will judge you for being with me. Your life will become complicated in ways you can't imagine." My heart hammered against my ribs. "What do you want, Jinwoo?" "Everything." The word came out rough, raw. "I want to know every thought in your head. Every dream, every fear. I want—" He stopped, jaw clenching. "I've spent my life surrounded by people who want what I represent. Power, money, protection. You looked at me and saw a man you needed for one dance. Not Park Jinwoo of the Park family. Just a man." The vulnerability in his confession struck something deep in my chest. Before I could second-guess myself, I closed the distance between us and pressed my lips to his. Jinwoo went rigid with surprise for half a heartbeat. Then his control shattered. He kissed me back with an intensity that stole my breath, one hand tangling in my hair, the other pulling me flush against him. He tasted like whiskey and something darker, dangerous, addictive. When we finally broke apart, both breathing heavily, Jinwoo rested his forehead against mine. "Stay," he whispered. "Stay tonight." "Yes," I breathed, and let myself fall into the dangerous unknown. If you're hooked on Joyce and Jinwoo's story, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you'll want to see what happens next. Morning light filtered through unfamiliar windows. I woke slowly, disoriented by the softness of sheets that probably cost more than my monthly budget, by the warm weight of an arm draped across my waist, by the fact that I'd just spent the night with a man I'd met hours ago. A Korean mafia boss, my brain helpfully reminded me. I turned carefully. Jinwoo was already awake, watching me with an intensity that should have been unsettling, but somehow wasn't. "Regrets?" he asked quietly. I considered lying, then remembered his appreciation for honesty. "No, confusion maybe. Terror about what I'm getting into, but no regrets." Jinwoo's smile was slow, genuine. Good. He pulled me closer, his lips finding mine in a kiss that quickly deepened into something more urgent. 20 minutes later, as I emerged from the shower wrapped in a towel that probably cost more than my entire wardrobe, I found Jinwoo on his phone, his expression hard as he spoke rapid Korean too fast for me to follow. The warmth from moments ago had vanished, replaced by cold authority. I don't want to hear excuses. Being short by 20% means either theft or incompetence. I won't tolerate either. He paused, listening. Then make an example out of them. Make it so decisive that no one else would even think of doing the same. He ended the call, then seemed to register my presence. The coldness evaporated. I apologize. Business never sleeps. My stomach tightened. What kind of example? Jinwoo set down his phone, moved toward me. The kind that keeps people alive by making one person's mistake a cautionary tale. His hands settled on my waist, thumbs tracing small circles. Does that frighten you? It should, I admitted. Probably says something terrible about me that it doesn't. At least not as much as it should. Or it says you understand that the world isn't black and white. Jinwoo's phone buzzed again. He ignored it. I need to handle some things today. Let me send you home. Make sure you're safe. I can take the subway. No. The word was absolute. Not after last night. People saw us leave together. That makes you connected to me. That makes you a target for my enemies and a curiosity for my allies. His eyes held mine. Let me protect you, please. The please softened the command into a request. I nodded. Jinwoo's phone rang. He glanced at the screen and his jaw tightened. I need to take this. Help yourself to anything in the closet. My sister leaves clothes here sometimes. He stepped onto the balcony, his voice muffled by the glass. I moved to the closet he'd indicated, gasping at the array of designer labels, Korean brands like Anderson Bell and Otter Error mixed with international haute couture. I selected the simplest outfit I could find, jeans and a silk blouse that probably still cost a fortune, and was dressed when Jinwoo returned, his expression troubled. Problem? I asked. Nothing I can't handle. But tension radiated from him. Come, I'll have breakfast prepared, then my driver will take you home. As we moved to the kitchen, a professional-grade space that seemed barely used, I noticed details I'd missed last night. A photo on a shelf of a younger Jinwoo with an older man and woman, all formal and unsmiling, a display case with what looked like traditional Korean daggers, and on Jinwoo's wrist, partially hidden by his sleeve, a tattoo of a tiger curling around his forearm. My father, Jinwoo said, noticing my gaze on the photo. He built the organization from nothing, died 3 years ago. I'm sorry, don't be. He was a hard man who taught me hard lessons. Jinwoo's expression was unreadable. He would have approved of you, though. He respected strength. A man appeared in the kitchen, one of the bodyguards from last night, and bowed slightly to Jinwoo. Hojangnim, we have a situation. The Kim crew made a move on our Gangnam territory. 2 of our men are in the hospital. Jinwoo's expression went cold as winter. Casualties? No deaths, but they're getting bold. Assemble the team. I'll handle it today. Jinwoo turned to me. I'm sorry, but I need to deal with this immediately. Taemin will drive you home and stay with you until I'm certain you're safe. Jinwoo, I don't need a babysitter. Yes, you do. His hand cupped my face, forcing me to meet his eyes. People know you're with me now. Until I make it clear that touching you means death, you're vulnerable. Please, let me do this. The please again. I nodded reluctantly. Jinwoo kissed me. Quick, intense, possessive. I'll call you tonight. And Joyce? His eyes burned into mine. This isn't a one-night thing. Not for me. If it is for you, tell me now. My heart hammered. It's not. Good. He smiled, predatory and satisfied. Then we're going to complicate each other's lives significantly. Drop energy in the comments if you think Joyce is making a huge mistake or the best decision of her life. 3 days passed. 3 days of Taemin driving me to and from Yonsei University. His presence making my classmates whisper and stare. 3 days of expensive meals delivered to my tiny apartment. I'd given Jinwoo my address, which probably meant he'd already known it anyway. 3 days of text messages that made me blush in the middle of lectures. Jinwoo, I can't stop thinking about the sounds you made when I kissed your neck. Me, I'm in class. You're going to make me fail. Jinwoo, then I'll endow a scholarship in your name. Worth it. But on the 4th day, everything changed. I was leaving my apartment building, heading to campus with Taemin following at his usual discreet distance, when a black sedan screeched to a stop. 4 men jumped out, not Jinwoo's men. I knew his team by sight now. Joyce Adebayo, one said in English, "You need to come with us. We have questions about Park Jinwoo." Taemin moved instantly, placing himself between me and the men, his hand disappearing inside his jacket. "Back away, now." "We're in IF," the man said, flashing a badge. National Intelligence Service. "This is official business. Stand down or face obstruction charges." My blood went cold. "What do you want with me?" "To ask about your relationship with a known organized crime figure." The agent's eyes were hard. "We've been watching Park Jinwoo for 3 years. You're his newest associate. That makes you a person of interest." Taemin's hand was definitely on a weapon now. "She's a student. She knows nothing about the organization's business." "That's what we'd like to confirm. Miss Adebayo, you can come voluntarily, or we can make this difficult. Your choice." My mind raced. If I went with them, what would they ask? What did I even know? If I refused, would they arrest me? Deport me? My phone buzzed. A text from Jinwoo. "Trust Taemin. He'll keep you safe." How did he know? "I'll come," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. "But I want a lawyer present." The agent smiled coldly. "Of course. This way." Taemin moved to follow. The agent held up a hand. "Alone. Your bodyguard stays here." As I was guided into the sedan, I saw Taemin already on his phone, talking urgently in rapid Korean. The car pulled away, and Seoul's familiar streets suddenly felt like a foreign country. The NIS building was imposing, all concrete and security checkpoints. I was led to an interrogation room that looked exactly like the ones in movies. Metal table, uncomfortable chairs, mirror that was obviously two-way glass. I waited and waited. 30 minutes passed. An hour. Was this a tactic? Make me nervous, compliant? The door finally opened. A woman entered, late 40s, sharp suit, sharper eyes. "Miss Adebayo, I'm Agent Park Soo-jin. Thank you for coming in." "Did I have a choice?" Agent Park smiled without warmth. "There's always a choice. Coffee?" "No, I'd like to know what this is about and when I can leave." "Direct. I appreciate that." Agent Park sat across from me, placing a file on the table. "You've been seeing Park Jinwoo. The Park family is one of the major crime organizations in Seoul. They control prostitution, illegal gambling, drug distribution." "I don't know anything about that." "Really? You've spent several nights at his penthouse. You've been seen entering his legitimate business offices. His men guard you like valuable property." Agent Park leaned forward. "You're either complicit or you're being used. Which is it?" My hands clenched in my lap. "I met Jinwoo less than a week ago. I don't know anything about his business operations. I'm just someone he's seeing." "Someone he's seeing," Agent Park repeated skeptically. "Park Jinwoo doesn't see people casually. He's a strategist. Everything is calculated." "So I'll ask again. What's your role? Are you a courier, money launderer, or just convenient cover to make him look legitimate?" Each word hit like a slap. Was that all I was? A convenient girlfriend to make Jinwoo seem respectable. "I don't have a role," I said firmly. "I'm a graduate student who met someone at a club. That's all." Agent Park opened the file, slid photos across the table. Jinwoo meeting with men in dark suits. Jinwoo entering buildings I didn't recognize. And one photo that made my stomach drop. Jinwoo standing over a man on his knees. A gun in his hand. "That man," Agent Park said softly, "died that night, shot execution style. We couldn't prove Park Jinwoo pulled the trigger, but we know he ordered it." She tapped the photo. "This is who you're sleeping with. A killer." I stared at the image, my heart hammering. Jinwoo's expression in the photo was cold, empty, nothing like the man who'd held me, kissed me, looked at me like I was precious. "I want my lawyer," I whispered. "You're not under arrest. You're free to go." Agent Park gathered the photos. "But think carefully, Miss Adebayo. The Park family has enemies, rival gangs, cops who want to take them down. You're in the crossfire now, whether you intended to be or not." She stood. "When you're ready to talk, really talk, here's my card." I took it with numb fingers. Outside, Taemin was waiting with the car, his expression grim. Are you all right? Did they hurt you? I'm fine. I slid into the back seat. Take me home, please. My phone rang immediately. Jinwoo. Don't answer, Taemin advised. Not until you've had time to think. But I answered anyway. Hello? Are you safe? Jinwoo's voice was tight with controlled fury. Did they touch you? Threaten you? I'm fine. They just asked questions. What kind of questions? About you, about us, about... My voice cracked. They showed me a photo. You with a gun, a man on his knees. Silence. Heavy, damning. I need to see you, Jinwoo said finally. There are things you need to understand. I need time, I interrupted. I need to think. Joyce? Please just give me a day. 1 day to process this. Another pause. All right, 1 day. But Taemin stays with you, no arguments. The call ended. Comment below. Should Joyce run from Jinwoo, or are you team ride or die? Let me know your thoughts. I spent that night alone in my apartment, staring at Agent Park's card, replaying every moment with Jinwoo. The gentleness, the intensity, the way he'd made me feel seen, valued, protected. And the cold calculation in the photo, the gun in his hand. My phone buzzed. Not Jinwoo. Charles. Charles. We need to talk about Park Jinwoo, please. It's important. Every instinct screamed trap, but curiosity and a desperate need to understand what I'd gotten into made me respond. Me. Fine. Tomorrow. Coffee shop near Yonsei. Public place. Charles. Thank you. 1 p.m. Come alone. I definitely wouldn't be alone, not with Taemin shadowing my every move. But I'd meet Charles and hear whatever warning he thought he needed to deliver. Sleep came fitfully, filled with dreams of Jinwoo's hands on my skin, turning into hands covered in blood. The coffee shop was crowded with students when I arrived the next afternoon. Charles was already there, looking haggard. Dark circles under his eyes, wrinkled shirt. A far cry from the polished professional I'd known. Thank you for meeting me, he said as I slid into the booth across from him. I know you have no reason to trust me. You're right, I don't, so make this quick. Charles glanced around nervously, lowered his voice. You need to end things with Park Jinwoo, immediately. That's not your business. It is when he's destroying my life because of you. Charles's voice rose, then dropped again at my warning look. That night at the club, after you left, Park's men came to my apartment. They told me I had 24 hours to return everyone I took from you, plus interest, or they'd make me disappear. My mouth went dry. What? I had to borrow from my father, sell my car. My father's so angry he cut my allowance and threatened to fire me from the company if I caused any more embarrassment. Charles's hands shook around his coffee cup. Park did all of that because of a breakup. What do you think he'll do if you try to leave him? The coffee shop suddenly felt too small, too warm. He wouldn't he? Charles pulled out his phone, showed me a photo, me, leaving Jinwoo's building 2 days ago. They're watching you constantly. You think it's protection? It's control. You're his property now, Joyce. That's not, we're not, but my words faltered. Was that what this was? Control disguised as care? I'm not telling you this to hurt you or get back together, Charles said. And he almost sounded sincere. I'm telling you because I don't want to read about your body being found in the Han River when you inevitably disappoint him or become inconvenient. My phone buzzed. Jinwoo, where are you? Taemin says you're at a coffee shop with your ex. Why? My blood chilled. Charles was right about one thing. I was being watched constantly. Me. He asked to meet. I'm handling it. I'm safe. Jinwoo, I'm coming. Don't go anywhere. I have to go, I said, standing abruptly. Joyce, please. But I was already leaving, pushing through the coffee shop crowd into the afternoon sunlight. Taemin materialized at my side immediately. Are you all right? Did he threaten you? No, yes, I don't know. I pressed my hands to my temples. I need to talk to Jinwoo, now. He's already on his way, should be here in... Taemin went silent, his body language shifting instantly to alert. Get down! I didn't even have time to process the command before Taemin was tackling me to the ground, his body covering mine as gunfire erupted. Screams filled the air, glass shattered. People ran in every direction, chaos erupting on what had been a peaceful Seoul street. Stay down, Taemin shouted, his weapon drawn, returning fire toward a black SUV that had screeched to a stop across the street. My heart hammered against the pavement. This wasn't real. This couldn't be real. I was a graduate student from Lagos, and people were shooting at me on a Seoul street in broad daylight. More gunfire. Taemin grunted in pain, blood blooming on his shoulder, but he didn't stop firing. Then another car arrived, Jinwoo's Genesis, and suddenly there were more men, more guns, and the attackers were retreating. Jinwoo appeared in my vision, his face a mask of cold fury as he pulled me up, checking me for injuries with rough, urgent hands. Are you hurt? Did they hit you? I'm fine. Taemin's shot. I know. Get in the car, now. It wasn't a request. Jinwoo practically lifted me into the Genesis, sliding in beside me as the car peeled away from the chaos. Through the rear window, I saw other cars arriving. Police, probably. And Taemin being helped by one of Jinwoo's men despite his shoulder wound. What the hell was that? I demanded, my voice shaking with adrenaline. Who were those people? The Kim family. Jinwoo's jaw was granite. I've been at war with them for control of Gangnam. They just escalated. His eyes met mine, burning with intensity and something that looked like fear. They went after you to hurt me. Charles was right, I whispered. Being with you puts a target on my back. Yes, no denial, no softening. Yes, it does. Which is why you're coming to my secure compound until I end this. You can't just kidnap me. I can, and I will. Jinwoo's hand gripped my chin, forcing me to look at him. You're mine, Joyce. Mine to protect, mine to keep safe. I don't care if you hate me for it. I won't let you die because of me. That's not your choice. It's exactly my choice. You became mine the moment you asked me to dance. The moment you spent the night in my bed. The moment I decided you were worth more than my empire. His voice dropped, raw and desperate. I can't lose you. I won't. The car pulled into an underground garage I didn't recognize. More men with guns surrounded us, as Jinwoo pulled me from the car into a private elevator. How long? I asked as we rose. How long do I have to hide? Until the Kim family is eliminated. Days, maybe weeks. I have classes, my degree. Can wait. Jinwoo's expression was immovable. Your life is more important than grades. The elevator opened into what looked like a luxury bunker, apartment-style living space, but with reinforced walls and no windows. Jinwoo guided me inside, then immediately turned to leave. Where are you going? I asked, hating the tremor in my voice. To make sure the people who tried to kill you today regret being born. Jinwoo paused at the door, his back to me. I know you're angry, frightened, questioning everything about us, but know this, I would burn Seoul to the ground before I let anyone harm you. That's not a promise, it's a fact. He left before I could respond. Hit that like button if you're as shook as Joyce right now, because this story is about to get even more intense. Hours passed. I paced the bunker apartment, jumping at every sound. Guards were stationed outside. For my protection, I reminded myself. Not to imprison me, but it felt like a cage. My phone had been taken. Security measure, one guard had explained. No contact with the outside world until Jinwoo cleared it. Which meant my family in Lagos would worry. My professors would mark me absent. My life was imploding. Around midnight, the door opened. Jinwoo entered and I gasped. His shirt was torn, stained with blood. Not his own based on how he moved. His knuckles were split and bruised. And his eyes were empty. The cold calculation from the photo agent Park had shown me. Is it done? I asked, unsure if I wanted the answer. 3 of them are dead. The others will deliver a message to the Kim family's leadership. Jinwoo's voice was flat, emotionless. They know now that touching you means extinction. I should have been horrified. Should have recoiled from this man who spoke of death so casually. Instead, I found myself moving toward him. Are you hurt? No. But he swayed slightly, and I realized he was exhausted. Adrenaline crash, probably, after hours of violence. Let me see. I guided him to the couch, began unbuttoning his shirt. Jinwoo let me, his eyes tracking my movements. Underneath, his torso was unmarked. The blood definitely wasn't his. But I could see the tension in every muscle, the barely contained violence still coiled in his body. You should run from me, Jinwoo said quietly. After today, you've seen what I am, what I'm capable of. You should be terrified. I met his eyes. I am terrified, but not of you. For you, there's a difference. Something cracked in Jinwoo's expression. He pulled me onto his lap, burying his face in my neck. I don't deserve you, he murmured against my skin. You're light, and I'm nothing but darkness. Then maybe I'm the balance you need. My fingers traced through his hair, soothing. But Jinwoo, I can't live in a bunker. I can't hide from the world. If we're going to do this, really do this, we need to find a way I can exist in your world without losing myself completely. Jinwoo pulled back, studying my face. What are you saying? I'm saying I choose you. Even knowing what you are, what your life involves, I choose you. But I need you to choose me back. Not as property to protect, but as a partner who gets a say in her own life. That's dangerous. Being with you is dangerous, period. At least let me face it as an equal, not a prisoner. My hands framed his face. Can you do that? Jinwoo's internal struggle played across his features. Finally, he nodded. All right, partners, but you follow security protocols. You let my men protect you, and if I say run, you run. Agreed. Agreed. I sealed it with a kiss, and Jinwoo responded with desperate intensity, his hands tangling in my hair as he claimed my mouth. When we finally pulled apart, both breathing hard, Jinwoo rested his forehead against mine. I need to tell you something about Charles, I stiffened. What about him? That money I made him return? It wasn't just about making him pay for hurting you. Jinwoo's voice was careful, measured. He was skimming from accounts at his father's company. The NIS was already investigating. I just accelerated the timeline. Made sure the evidence landed on the right desks. You got him investigated by the NIS. He was stealing money to fund a gambling habit. He would have been caught eventually. I simply ensured it happened sooner. Jinwoo's eyes held mine. The same NIS agents who brought you in, they were already building a case against him. That's why they questioned you. They thought you might be part of his schemes. My mind reeled. So when Agent Park showed me photos of you, she was trying to turn you into an informant, make you think I was more dangerous than Charles's white-collar crimes. Jinwoo's jaw tightened. She failed to mention that Charles's stolen funds were being used to pay off loan sharks who work for the Kim family. He's more connected to my world than you ever were. You're saying Charles is involved with organized crime? Was? The NIS arrested him 2 hours ago. He's facing embezzlement charges, and if they can prove he knowingly worked with the Kim crew, racketeering charges too. I sat back, processing. Charles, pristine, by-the-book Charles, was a criminal. And Jinwoo, the Mafia boss, had exposed him. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Because I wanted you to choose me without thinking it was a choice between two evils. I wanted you to see that my world, while violent, operates on honor. Charles's world of legitimate business, often more corrupt. Jinwoo's hand cupped my cheek. I won't lie to you, Joyce. Not about who I am or what I do, but I need you to trust that everything I do is to protect what's mine. I'm not a possession, no. You're infinitely more valuable than any possession. You're the person who makes me want to be better than what I am. The raw honesty in his voice undid something in my chest. I kissed him again, and this time Jinwoo picked me up, carrying me toward the bedroom. We're really doing this, I whispered. Building something real in the middle of all this chaos? We are. Jinwoo laid me on the bed, his body covering mine with delicious weight. And I promise you, anyone who tries to take you from me will regret it for whatever brief time they have left alive. It should have sounded threatening. Somehow, it just sounded like a vow. Comment, partner, if you're rooting for Joyce and Jinwoo to make this impossible relationship work. 2 weeks passed in the secure compound. 2 weeks of me attending online classes via encrypted connection, of Jinwoo visiting between handling his organization's business, of slowly learning the rhythms of his world. His men, I learned their names now, their stories, guarded me with increasing friendliness. Taemin, his shoulder healing, taught me basic self-defense. Hojangnim would kill me if anything happened to you, he said, but he smiled as he said it. Jinwoo transformed in front of my eyes. The cold, ruthless leader who left each night returned hours later to hold me. to talk about everything and nothing, to show me the man beneath the armor. He told me about his father's brutal training, about taking over the organization at 28 after his father's death, about the loneliness of power. "I've never had this," he admitted one night, me tucked against his side. "Someone who sees all of me and doesn't run. Someone I can be weak with." "You're not weak. You're human. There's a difference." On day 15, Jinwoo arrived with news. "It's done. The Kim family's leadership has agreed to peace terms. You can leave the compound." I should have been thrilled. Instead, I felt oddly reluctant. "What kind of peace terms?" "They acknowledge you as untouchable. Any action against you is automatic declaration of war." Jinwoo's smile was sharp. "They also cede their Gangnam territory and pay reparations. It's a good deal. For you. For us. You're part of my world now, Joyce. What's good for the organization is good for you." The casual statement sent a chill down my spine. "Jinwoo, I'm not part of the organization. I'm with you. There's a difference." His expression shuddered. "In my world, there's no difference. You're mine, which makes you ours." "No." I sat up, putting distance between us. "We agreed I was your partner, not your property, not the organization's asset." "You think those are separate things?" Jinwoo's voice cooled. "Every move I make affects you. Every enemy I create threatens you. You can't exist in my life without being part of the organization. That's not how this works." "Then maybe we need to reconsider how this works." My heart hammered, but I held my ground. "I won't be absorbed into your world so completely that I lose myself. I won't become just Park Jinwoo's woman with no identity of my own." Jinwoo stood, his face hard. "You think you have a choice? You're already in too deep. The NIS is watching you. My rivals know who you are. Walking away doesn't make you safe. It makes you vulnerable without protection." "So I'm trapped? Is that what you're saying?" "I'm saying you're protected. There's a difference." But his tone suggested he didn't see one. I felt tears prick my eyes. "I need air. I need to think." "You're not leaving without security." "I'm going to the bathroom, Jinwoo. I think I can manage that without an armed escort." I left before he could respond, locking myself in the bathroom and finally letting the tears fall. What had I done? Fallen in love with a man who saw me as an extension of his empire? Or was I overreacting, unable to adapt to his world's harsh realities? A knock on the door. "Joyce?" Jinwoo's voice, softer now. "I'm sorry, that came out wrong." I opened the door. Jinwoo stood there, the hard edge gone, replaced by something vulnerable. "I don't know how to do this," he admitted. "I don't know how to love someone and not try to control every aspect of their life to keep them safe. My father taught me that weakness gets people killed, that emotions are leverage enemies use against you. I'm not your enemy, I know, but I don't know how to separate protecting you from controlling you. It's all tangled up in my head." He reached for my hand. "Teach me. Show me how to be your partner without trying to own you." I squeezed his hand. "Start by trusting that I can make my own decisions about risk, that I'm strong enough to exist in your world without being consumed by it. What if you're wrong? What if I lose you because I gave you freedom and you got hurt? Then that's my mistake to make, not yours." I stepped closer. "I'm choosing this, Jinwoo. I'm choosing you, your world, all of it. But I need you to trust my choice. Can you do that?" Jinwoo was silent for a long moment. Finally, he nodded. "I can try. It won't be perfect. I'll probably overreact and smother you sometimes, but I'll try." "That's all I'm asking." I kissed him softly. "Now, can we please leave this bunker? I miss sunlight." Jinwoo smiled, the tension breaking. "Yes, let's go home." Home, I realized as we left the compound. Together meant something different now. Not Lagos, not my tiny apartment. Home was wherever Jinwoo was. Complicated, dangerous, and impossibly mine. Smash that subscribe button because Joyce and Jinwoo's story is far from over, and the biggest twist is still coming. Returning to my regular life felt surreal. Yonsei University continued as if I hadn't missed 2 weeks. My professors accepted my medical excuse without question. Jinwoo's doing, probably. My classmates whispered but didn't approach. Everyone had heard about the Gangnam shooting, but Seoul itself felt different. I noticed things I'd missed before. The way certain establishments had men in suits watching the doors. the subtle markings that indicated which businesses paid protection to which organizations, the unspoken hierarchies that governed the city's nighttime economy. I also noticed Jinwoo's influence everywhere. Shop owners bowed when I passed with my security detail. Restaurant staff gave me the best tables without question. Even the university administration treated me with careful respect. Is this what it's like? I asked Jinwoo one evening over dinner at his penthouse. Being with you? Having doors open just because of your name? Yes. Does it bother you? I considered. It should. It's privilege I didn't earn. But I'd be lying if I said it wasn't convenient. Jinwoo smiled. Honest as always. That's one of the things I love about you. Love. He'd said it casually, but the word hung between us. We hadn't used that word yet, hadn't defined what we were beyond together. Do you? I asked softly. Love me? Jinwoo set down his fork, his full attention on me. Yes, I love you. I think I started loving you the moment you asked me to dance, looking at me like I was just a man, not Park Jinwoo, like I was someone who could be useful to you without knowing my power. His hand covered mine. You saw me, Joyce, the real me, and you stayed anyway. Tears blurred my vision. I love you too, even though you're impossible and overprotective and sometimes terrifying. Especially because of that? Maybe a little. I laughed through tears, and Jinwoo moved around the table to pull me into his arms. His phone rang. He ignored it. It rang again and again. Answer it, I said. It might be important. Jinwoo sighed, checked the screen, and his expression went cold. It's important, but you won't like it. He answered, listened, his jaw tightening with each passing second. Yeonjae? 마였명? 알았어. 지금 간다. He ended the call and looked at me with regret. The Kim family just hit one of our gambling houses. 5 people dead, including the manager, a good man with 2 kids. His hands clenched into fists. They violated the peace agreement. This is war. What does that mean? It means I need to respond. Publicly, violently, to send a message that broken agreements have consequences. Jinwoo's eyes burned. And it means you need to go, back into hiding until this is resolved. No, I stood, facing him. We agreed I'm your partner. Partners don't hide while the other fights. This isn't a metaphor, Joyce. This is actual war. People will die. I understand that. And I'm terrified. But if I hide every time things get dangerous, I'll spend my entire life in that bunker. I gripped his arms. Let me stay. Let me be part of your world, not just the pretty thing you keep safe in a tower. Jinwoo looked torn. If something happens to you, then we face it together. That's what love means, right? Not protecting each other from life, but facing life as a team. Finally, reluctantly, he nodded. All right, but you follow security protocols exactly, and if I tell you to run, you run. No arguments. Agreed. Jinwoo pulled me close, his face buried in my neck. You're going to give me a heart attack, woman. Probably, but you love me anyway. God help me, I do. The next 3 days were chaos. Jinwoo assembled his organization's leadership, men and women who ran various operations across Seoul. I met them in the war room of Jinwoo's legitimate business headquarters, feeling completely out of my depth. This is Joyce, Jinwoo introduced simply. She's under my personal protection. Anyone who threatens her threatens me. Clear? Nods around the table, some curious looks, some calculating, but no one challenged my presence. The Kim family broke peace terms, Jinwoo continued, his voice cold and commanding. 5 dead, property destroyed, and a message that they think we're weak. We respond tonight. Simultaneous hits on their 3 largest revenue streams, the Hongdae clubs, the Itaewon gambling operation, and the Gangbuk drug pipeline. That's a major escalation, one man objected. Older, scarred, clearly a veteran of organizational wars. We could trigger all-out conflict. They already triggered it when they killed our people. Jinwoo's eyes were ice. We end this decisively, or we look weak and invite more attacks. No half measures. The meeting continued, planning logistics that made my stomach churn. They were discussing violence so casually, so strategically. This was Jinwoo's world. Not just the man who held me gently at night, but the leader who ordered deaths without hesitation. Could I really live in this world? After the meeting, Jinwoo found me on the building's roof terrace, staring at Seoul's glittering lights. Second thoughts? He asked, coming to stand beside me. 1,000 thoughts, but not about leaving you. I turned to face him. I'm trying to reconcile the man who makes me breakfast with the man who just ordered multiple people's deaths. They're the same man. I don't get to be just one or the other. Jinwoo's expression was guarded. If that's too much, it's everything. It's complicated and messy and morally gray, and it should send me running. I stepped closer. But I meant what I said. I love you, all of you. The gentle parts and the ruthless parts. The man who quotes Korean poetry and the man who pulls triggers. Jinwoo kissed me, desperate and grateful. I don't deserve you. Probably not, but you're stuck with me anyway. His phone buzzed. It's time. The operations start in 30 minutes. He looked at me. Last chance to go somewhere safe. I'm staying. Then stay in my office. Don't leave for any reason. Taemin will be outside the door. Jinwoo, I caught his hand. Come back to me. Always. He kissed me once more, then left, transforming before my eyes from my lover to the cold, calculating leader his organization needed. I returned to Jinwoo's office. Massive space, floor-to-ceiling windows, desk that probably cost more than a car. I tried to focus on my textbook, but the words blurred. Somewhere in Seoul, violence was erupting. Jinwoo's people were fighting, maybe dying. And I was sitting safely in a luxury office. An hour passed, then 2. I tried texting Jinwoo. Me. Are you okay? Please let me know you're safe. No response. My anxiety spiraled. 3 hours became 4. My text went unanswered. Taemin, stationed outside, looked increasingly worried. Is this normal? I finally asked, opening the office door. For operations to take this long? Taemin's expression was grim. No, something's wrong. My blood went cold. What do you mean wrong? Before Taemin could answer, his phone rang. He answered, listened, and his face drained of color. Where? How bad is it? I'm taking them now. He ended the call and looked at me with something like pity. We need to go. Now, the hospital. My heart stopped. Jinwoo? He's alive, but he was shot. They're working on him now. The drive to the hospital passed in a blur. My mind refused to process information beyond 3 words. Jinwoo was shot. The man I loved, the impossible, infuriating, beautiful man, was bleeding somewhere while I sat helpless. We arrived at a private hospital, clearly one that treated the organization's injuries without questions. Taemin rushed me through secured corridors to a waiting room filled with Jinwoo's men, all looking shell-shocked. What happened? I demanded. An older man, the one who'd objected in the meeting, stepped forward. The gangbuk operation was a trap. They were waiting for us. Jinwoo took 3 bullets protecting his men while they retreated. 3 bullets. My knees went weak. Where is he? Can I see him? He's in surgery, the doctors say. The man's voice cracked. He's lost a lot of blood. The next few hours are critical. I sank into a chair, my entire world narrowing to one thought. He can't die. Not now. Not when we'd just found each other. Hours crawled past. Jinwoo's men came and went, whispering updates about retaliation operations, about the war with the Kim family, about shifting power dynamics. I heard none of it. I just stared at the surgery doors, willing them to open with good news. Finally, at dawn, a doctor emerged. He's stable. The surgery went well. 2 bullets were through and throughs, relatively minor. The 3rd nicked his femoral artery. That's what caused the blood loss. But we've repaired it. He's young, strong. Barring complications, he'll recover fully. My vision swam with relief. Can I see him? He's still sedated, but yes, this way. Jinwoo looked terrible, pale, hooked up to multiple machines, bandaged and broken, but alive, beautifully, impossibly alive. I took his hand carefully, mindful of the IV lines. You stupid, reckless man, I whispered. You promised to come back to me. His fingers twitched weakly in mine. Over the next week, Jinwoo recovered with stubborn determination. The war with the Kim family ended decisively. They'd lost their leader in a retaliatory hit, and the surviving members sued for peace. Jinwoo's organization emerged stronger, their territory expanded, their reputation as ruthless but honorable cemented. But Jinwoo himself seemed changed, quieter, more contemplative. "I've been thinking," he said one evening as I sat beside his hospital bed. "About what you said. About partners and balance." "Jinwoo, let me finish." He squeezed my hand. "Lying here, thinking I might die, all I could think about was you. Not the organization, not territory, not power. You. And I realized, you were right. I've been so consumed by protecting my world that I forgot to actually live in it." He struggled to sit up despite my protests. "I want to step back from day-to-day operations. Let my lieutenants handle more. I want time with you, actual time, not stolen moments between conflicts." My heart swelled. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying maybe it's time to build something legitimate. Real estate development, the entertainment businesses we own. We can go legal with most operations. It'll take years, but—" His eyes held mine. "I want a life with you, Joyce. Not just existence between wars, a real life." Tears streamed down my face. "I want that too." "Then we'll build it. Together. Partners." "Partners," I agreed, kissing him softly. 3 months later, I stood in Jinwoo's penthouse. Our penthouse now, my things mingled with his in comfortable domesticity. Seoul sprawled below, the city that had transformed me from a heartbroken graduate student into the partner of one of its most powerful men. My phone rang. A Lagos number. My mother. "Hi, Mama." "Joyce, finally you answer. We've been so worried." "What's happening in Korea?" I glanced at Jinwoo, who was cooking dinner in the kitchen, moving carefully, but mostly healed. The ruthless Mafia boss wearing an apron, making jollof rice and bulgogi because he knew I missed Nigerian food but wanted to share his culture too. "I'm good, Mama, really good. I have so much to tell you." "Is there a man? You sound different, happy." I smiled. "Yes, there's a man. It's complicated, but—" "Love is always complicated," my mother interrupted. "The question is, does he treat you well? Does he see your value?" I watched Jinwoo taste the jollof rice, frown, add more seasoning. The feared Park Jinwoo, worried about getting my comfort food right. "He sees my value, Mama. Even when I don't see it myself." "Then bring him home. Let me meet this man who put light back in your voice." I laughed. "I will, soon, I promise." After the call, I joined Jinwoo in the kitchen. He pulled me into his arms, careful of his still healing injuries. "Your mother wants to meet me," he asked, having clearly eavesdropped. "Terrified?" "Absolutely. Your mother sounds more intimidating than rival gang leaders." "She is, but she'll love you, eventually." I kissed him. "So, a trip to Lagos?" "Anywhere with you." Jinwoo's smile was genuine, warm, the one reserved only for me. Though I should probably leave the guns at home for that trip. Probably wise. We stood there, wrapped in each other as Seoul's lights twinkled outside. A Nigerian woman and a Korean mafia boss, building an impossible life together. It wouldn't be easy. Jinwoo's world would always carry dangers, and my insistence on maintaining my own identity would spark conflicts. But we'd face it together, partners in every sense. "I love you," I whispered. "Sarangae, I love you," Jinwoo said softly. "Thank you for asking me to dance that night. Thank you for saying yes." Outside, Seoul hummed with life, the legitimate world and the shadow world, existing side by side. And in this penthouse, we built our own kingdom, one where love was powerful enough to bridge two worlds, two cultures, two souls that had found each other in the chaos and chosen to stay. If this story captured your heart, don't forget to like, comment with your favorite moment, and subscribe for more stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Joyce and Jinwoo's journey proves that love doesn't follow rules, it writes its own. Until next time, keep believing in impossible love stories. The end.